Hello, Erin from Morehouse Farm here with today's knitting tip, which is how to knit the brioche stitch. Now, this is a tricky stitch to explain, but once it clicks, I'm really excited about how well it's working. And it's worth learning because it gives you this great fabric with an enunciated rib look, but it's reversible. As you can see, my pink columns of V-stitches are complemented on the back side with the brown V-stitches here. And in between, there's this really neat cross design. It gives it a really thick fabric from just working 2 yarns at a time with this enunciated rib that's super soft, super warm, especially when we're spoiled here working with this merino from Morehouse. So to get started, I found that the big picture of remembering that I'm always alternating something really helped explain this stitch. So when I'm working with one yarn color in one row, I'm going to work with the next yarn color in the next row. And having those 2 different colors really helped me understand what I need to be doing, because when I got to this pink column, those are knit stitches, so I know I needed to be knitting with the pink yarn. And in between, the brown yarn, that's when I'm going to be purling based on the yarn color that I'm working with. So that's one thing. Next is I'm going to be alternating knit, purl, but I'm going to do that every other row. Meaning I'm going to knit a stitch, and then I'm actually going to slip the stitch in between, and then I'm going to knit the next stitch. But the thing that makes brioche different is that when you slip the stitch, you create a yarn over at the same time so that no stitch is left by itself. See how this has a yarn over wrapped around it? That means I need to work that one, whereas this guy right here is all by himself. So I know that one I need to slip, and I'm going to add the yarn over. Now, that's all pretty crazy to listen to, so let me show you. I think it'll make a whole lot more sense. So I'll start continental and then switch to American. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is knit, because I've got the stitch with the companion yarn over from the previous row. Then I'm going to bring my yarn forward. I'm going to slip this stitch, create a yarn over at the same time, and I'm going to knit. Slip the stitch and yarn over at the same time and knit. Bring the yarn forward, slip the stitch, yarn over, and knit. Slip the stitch, yarn over, and knit. So what does that look like American style? Just switch the yarn hand and you'll end up doing the same thing. Bring the yarn forward. You will slip the stitch, and because you're working the yarn around to the back, which is where you need it to be, just knit, and the yarn gets wrapped when you throw it for that knit stitch. Bring it forward, slip the stitch, wrap the yarn, and be ready for your next knit stitch. Slide it off, keep going, and again we're bringing it forward so that we can wrap and knit at the same time. And we'll work just a couple more here to finish off this row, and then I can show you the purling, what that looks like. Oops, and that's where I need to keep in mind I've already got the yarn to the back. I don't need to bring it back again when I'm knitting. So our last one in this row of the knitting, we're going to slip, and then I just kind of tuck the yarn forward so it stays out of my way. Now we're going to switch to the dark yarn, and we're going to pick up where we left off. So this is my switch rows, like my fancy row marker here. We're going to slip, because it's pink, we're working with brown yarn, so we know we're not going to be purling. We're going to slip that stitch, work our yarn over, and then we're going to purl. Okay, we're going to slip the stitch, we're going to work the yarn over at the same time, and purl. We're going to slip the stitch, work the yarn over, and purl. And again, the working stitches, like right here, are the ones that have the yarn over with them from the previous row. The ones that are by themselves get slipped, have the yarn over worked together. Make sense? I sure hope so, because this is a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the finished results because this fabric just feels so wonderful. So for the American style version of this, We're going to be working this yarn over, bring the yarn forward. We will purl. Okay, yarn is forward, yarn over, bring it back forward, and we're going to purl again because we've got those 2 stitches together. We know we only need to slip it when it's by itself, bring that yarn forward, and we're going to purl. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Slip, yarn over, and purl. And you're going to have this fantastic brioche fabric when you're done. I'm loving it already. There you go. Happy knitting from Morehouse Farm.